Hi, we're in the park today getting ready for the upcoming Day of the Dead celebrations at Riverview Fisk Park. We've made some sugar skull headdresses so we could participate in the parade organized by Heights resident artists Santi Cohen and Beverly Brown. I made a video that you could follow along with to learn how to make these headdresses. In order to make a sugar skull headdress, you're going to need a few things. White foam core is nice because you can draw on it and the colors show up really nice and bright, and it's a little bit stronger than cardboard, but if you only have cardboard, make it out of cardboard. That is for the large sugar skull figure, but to make the headdress, the actual architecture system that you're going to need to hold it onto your head, you're just going to make it out of cardboard. I have a box from Home Depot, but it can be an Amazon box, any kind of cardboard box. Some masking tape is good, but packing tape will work. Something to draw with, a marker or a pencil. A scissor or a razor blade. I have an X-Acto knife. I also have a scissor. And I have a hot glue gun and some hot glue sticks for when I'm ready to put the sugar skull figure on top of the headdress. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to make some nice straight lines. And the fact that this edge is not perfectly straight, it doesn't matter at all. So for this one, I'm going to mark roughly 3 inches, make a line, relatively level. I'm going to cut that out, and that's going to be for the crown. And then roughly 1 inch, I'll cut out a second piece along that line. And when cutting foam core and when you're cutting cardboard, it's good to do it in more than one pass. So I'm going to score it. I'm going to take my time. I don't want to cut myself. And it's not perfect, but it's going to be fine. I can bend the cardboard so I can see the second pass. I can even do it this way, and I'll cut through on this side. Watching my fingers. So this is the first piece. This will be the headband or the crown. The second one, the thinner one, is going to be a supportive system. This is what's going to hold it on my head, especially once it starts to get windy. So here we go. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to score it. If I was on a cutting surface, maybe I would score it a second time and cut through it completely. But I don't want to scratch this table. It's not mine, I borrowed it. So I'm going to, again, bend the cardboard and then cut it through the back side along the fold. And I'm not worried about it being perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to worry about the details when we get to the sugar skull. So now I have 2 pieces that are going to act as the crown and the supporting brace. So I'll put those on the side. I'm going to need another piece that is going to be the bridge. And it's hard to explain why I'm drawing it this shape, but you'll see later when I'm putting it together. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We have plenty of cardboard, so if my shape isn't good, we can do it again. but we're going to need a platform to glue to the sugar skull. And the sugar skull is going to be pretty big, so we're going to make a box. Okay? And then we're going to have a headband along the bottom. Right, so I'm drawing this shape. And then I want to bring this down here, bring this down here. And then, because this might fall down in front of our face, I'm going to cut a window for our face. So this is going to be our shape that I'm going to cut out. Okay, I've cut out my 3 pieces. I have the crown that's going to go around my head. I have the brace, which is going to support the crown. And then I have my bridge that's going to bridge the sugar skull to the crown. Okay, now it's time to customize this for me. So it's hard for me to make one for you because if it doesn't fit well, it's going to move around in the wind. So it's important to get this kind of right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first piece and I'm going to wrap it around my head and try to get a measurement. So very easily, I wrap this around my head, but as you can see, I pulled it down around my forehead, but I don't want it to fit this way. I want it to fit like a crown. So I want to bring it higher on my head and I want to tighten it so that it doesn't slide down too far in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it so I remember how tight to make it, because when I let go it's going to move. And I'm going to use a little bit of masking tape. And I'm going to bring it right back around to that point. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on it because it might not be perfect. I might have to make an adjustment. So I'll put a little bit of tape on it. You can see it's not exacting, but we're going to add more tape later. So now I'm going to put it back on my head and it fits nice and snug. It's a little bit tight right here, high on my forehead. And you can see it doesn't fall down the back. It sits nice and high. And then this is good. I can probably put more tape on this now. But the next step is to make the brace. What happens is the weight of the sugar skull and the wind will have a tendency to push down on the front, lifting the back. So what you can do to prevent that is you make a brace that's going to hook under this part of your head. Most people have a little bit of a bump here, and we're going to wrap it here and then secure it to the crown. Okay, this is looking better. I have a little more space here between the crown and the brace. Yeah, that's a better fit. I feel it touching the back of my head. The next thing we need to do is attach the bridge to the crown. So we have a nice big platform to mount our sugar skull. Or it could be anything. It could be, another type of mask. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up the front of the crown with the front of the bridge. The bridge is going to be a little higher than the crown, or the platform will be a little higher. And I can see here where to make my bends. So I'm going to bend one here. I'm going to bend one here. And we're going to mount it like so. I can see I got to make it a little tighter. And it's fine. We're going to keep making adjustments until we get something that's going to work for us. Okay, I'm done making the headdress part of it, the crown, the armature that's going to hold on to the sugar skull. It's really simple out of 3 pieces of cardboard. And again, I made a band that'd go across the top of my head. That was a big part of the crown. A smaller piece that's a strap to help it hold on to the back of my head. And then a larger piece that's going to give me the platform to mount the sugar skull mask to. Okay, now it's time to make the sugar skull. I'm working with some foam core that we got at the craft store. You can buy it at Staples, you can buy it at Walmart. It's a pretty big size. It's 20 inches wide by 30 inches tall. And I'm going to use most of it for my sugar skull. I went ahead and I already drew out on my board in pencil my outline for my sugar skull. And it looks like this. And you know, we can make a whole nother video of how to draw a sugar skull, but I just went on YouTube, lots of tutorials how to draw a sugar skull. I looked at different ideas and tried to incorporate something that was a little bit different, and it's kind of hard to copy someone else's drawing exactly. So this is what I came up with, and probably by the time I'm done painting it, it's even going to look different than this. So now we're just going to cut this out, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I glue it all together. We definitely want to take our time. I'm working with an X-Acto knife that's very sharp, but it's very detailed, and I want to be able to follow these curves and again, I want to score it more than once. I don't want to try to cut through the whole piece in one pass. So I'll probably go through about 3 times. Okay, now that we're done cutting out our sugar skull, it's time to glue it to our crown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the hot glue gun, and we'll get that going, and then we'll glue it together, and we're pretty much done. Press down. As soon as that cools, it will be hardened. Now I'm just going to add a little extra tape. Let's see how it looks. All we need to do now is paint it, decorate it, and go to Riverview Fisk Park for the Day of the Dead Festival. See you there.